What's going on, people? It's your man, the YB, back once again. Listen, it's not often I'm lost for words, but this was truly a despicable, disrespectful performance. I feel, listen, I ain't even sure if it was on pay-per-view yet, but I definitely didn't pay for it. you best believe. Listen, it best not have been on pay-per-view. Shocking. Woeful. Woeful doesn't begin to describe what I just witnessed. In fact, where do we begin here on the woeful note? Do we start with Lawrence Okolie's? He should have been disqualified. I can't lie to you. I haven't watched an Okolie fight for probably a year or two. I think the Glowacki fight or the one after that was the last one I watched. And I'd kind of forgotten. I said to one of my Donnies who I went to go and watch it with, I said, let's watch this fight kind of thing, one of these ones. And he was like, Okolie's dead. Okolie's boring. I thought, nah. He got the big right hand, he got heavy hands. Wow. I was literally not lost for words. It took my breath away. I've never actually watched a fight before and wanted someone to lose so bad. I was desperate. When he got knocked down, I was so happy. There's no way that should be allowed. What was the referee doing? The referee kept warning him. I don't get that. If you warn someone about hugging you, and he does it again, you don't let him have another 10 chances. He should have been, truth be known, his fight should have been cancelled in round 4 or 5. Simple as that. And really, I have to salute Chris Billam-Smith because, I think towards the end, one of the interviewers said, Chris isn't playing on it. I didn't hear Chris. I heard Chris's team shouting, but I didn't hear really Chris say anything for the whole fight. And it's crazy. The guy I was with said, we haven't actually seen Chris Billam-Smith fighting. It was a 12-round fight, and genuinely, I didn't see Chris Billam-Smith fighting. I saw him get hugged to death. I saw him, thank God, yeah, God is good. Yeah, even that's how you know, even God was pissed off with Okolie. Because really, the amount of hugging Okolie was doing, only a punch from God could have hit Okolie in that sense. There was no time to get any work off. So thank God that somehow, some way, Chris Billam-Smith found, them godly paws put on Okolie's chin. But now it's clear why Okolie be hugging. He ain't got no chin. It's one of them. I'm gonna be real with you. And that was one of the things out there. One of the things out there was a man who has confidence in his chops don't need to hug. He has no inside game, none. And what gets me the most frustrated is these guys here with no inside game. They kind of grab with one arm and then start slapping like that's doing something. I've never seen anyone score any damage from being in a clinch and just slapping away like that's doing something. It's like that cheat mode kind of thing. Oh, I don't really want to fight you on the inside. I don't really want to take any risk. I don't really want to get stuck in. What I'll do is I'll tie you up and then slap away. Like, what's the point in that? Don't bother. Just tie the guy up. Oh, but I need to act like I'm doing something. Okolie is the biggest waste of space I've ever seen, genuinely. Now, often on this channel, yeah, we joke around and that, but I'm being deadly serious now. There's no joke in this one. He's a complete waste of space. And the only thing I would have liked more is for Reactport to catch him coming in and just smoke him in one shot, ice cold. Oh, YB, you're a hate. I don't care what you call it. That was despicable. It should have been stopped. That judge, when I heard 112, Okolie was like, he couldn't believe his luck. I thought, what's going on here? What sort of scam is this? 112. It's not even, I'm pretty sure it's not even mathematically impossible. Because when you score 3 knockdowns, that's 3 10-8 rounds, which means you've won 6 rounds. 3 10-8 rounds is the equivalent of winning 6 rounds. Okolie could have won. In fact, how would it work? Yeah, Okolie could have won the first 6 rounds, for example. Billam-Smith's knockdowns, because 6 rounds. Sorry, if you win 6 rounds, that's 6 10-9s. So you're 6 points up. But Billam-Smith had 3 10-8s, which is also 6 points. So it's like, plus you got the 2, what do they call it? The 2 points taken off for hugging him to death. I'm pretty sure it's mathematically impossible for Okolie to have got a draw. Like, what were they doing? And then, to be fair to the other judges, they had it something, so as it should have been. What was it, 119, 107, something mad. Which is that's how the numbers work out. When you have 3 knockdowns and 2 points taken away, you can't be having a draw. And it wasn't fair enough, yeah. It wasn't like Okolie was in there and just piecing him up and got unlucky with this, that, the other. He wasn't doing anything. And I have to give credit to Chris Billam-Smith because he took some good shots and it didn't dissuade him. It didn't put him off. And even the hugging didn't put him off. I've seen, there was a few points I got a bit nervous towards the end. There was a few points where you could see Chris was getting maybe a little bit frustrated or getting a little bit too trigger happy, and I thought the worst thing for me right now, I was praying, the worst thing for me right now would have been like around 11 and Chris gets a bit sloppy and gets caught. That would have, honestly, shocking. Get this, Okolie need to be nowhere near a boxing ring. Nowhere near. I don't know what are these guys doing. That's the other thing. To be fair, I think this is beyond a bad habit. This is, I mean, it's not even, I don't know what you'd call it. It's not boxing at all. What we watched last night weren't boxing. Like I said, I don't even know how Chris Billam-Smith actually looks against Okolie. I don't know. I couldn't tell you. We didn't actually see Chris Billam-Smith do any boxing last night. He got hugged to death. Praise the Lord that his paws found Okolie's chin. That's all I can say. Praise the Lord for that. And like the referee, man, listen, the fight should have been stopped, I'm telling you now. I've never before watched a fight and thought this needs to be stopped. You might know me, I'm one of them free market kind of guys. Listen, man, let it go on. But I've never been angry before watching a fight. I was angry. It was disgraceful what that was. And there's some cornball saying, yeah, but, you know, I mean, I said months ago, there needs to be a rule brought in, like tennis. With tennis, yeah, you can't call the judge every 5 minutes. You think, what is it? In a whole game or a whole match, you get 3 umpire, whatever it's callbacks or whatever they call it. In boxing, there needs to be a rule. Every round, you get 3 clinches. You best use them sparingly. A clinch should be an emergency option. It's not a fourth punch. Oh, we have uppercuts, jab, hooks, and clinches. No, that's not what it is. If you want to be a clincher, go join the wrestling team. Or better yet, Okolie might as well go UFC or whatever. Go and do that. If you're desperate to hang on to someone for dear life, yeah, go to UFC, and it's part of the game there. But what that was shocking. And now, unfortunately, what's going to happen is with Okolie, there's no way he's going to double down. There's no way he's not going to double down. If he was scared to death to get hit, which we now know is the case, he got no chin, bottom line. The first shot that lands, he out there. He out. And again, Chris Billam-Smith wasn't even able to get his paws on him. Literally, the 3 times Chris touched him, he on the floor. So he got no chin. So people do things for a reason. Yeah? There's a reason Golovkin can wade forward and ain't trying to clinch it. There's a reason, even Canelo, to be fair. Canelo, Golovkin, they wade forward. Because they know, I can take a shot. Okolie, he has no I've never seen him fight on the inside at all. I've never seen him throw a shot on it, not once. He falls in, he hugs. And to be that lanky as well, no jab. Honestly, Okolie's mythical. A mythical figure in the game of boxing. To be that tall, you'd think the go-to would be, okay, I'm lanky as you like. Let me just put a jab out there. But instead, it's like, F the jab. F anything else. F getting stuck in and having a fight. Let me put my hands up. And people say, oh, YB, you always say that. But listen, what was that? What was he doing? Yeah? He was down. He must have known he was losing. And he's still hugging for dear life. It's wild. But I've been saying for the last few weeks now that this current generation is full of on-top fighters. Yeah? That's a lie. Okolie ain't even an on-top fighter, though. Even when he's winning a fight, he's still hugging. An on-top fighter would be looking really good, kind of like Devin Haney kind of thing. Devin Haney looked good when he beat in there with Kambosos. Even then he hugging as well. And that's another thing. Get rid of hugging, man. Clinching needs to be marginalised in the game, in my opinion. There's no space for it. That judge, that referee, and the judge, the corny one, the 112, needs to be looked into. That referee, this fight should have been stopped. Should have been stopped. There's no way. Them last 6 rounds were miserable to watch, truth be known. And Chris Billam-Smith, he deserves a gold medal at the Olympics for number 1, keeping it. I don't know. I'd have been going mad. Chris was smiling a few times, kind of like, come on, what's he doing? But I'd have been, from round 1, Chris should have been in there, ref, he hugging. And he was. It's not like it's a lie. It's not even like it was good hugging. It was literally, I mean, there was one point, Okolie had a point taken off, and then, obviously the ref tells him, no more hugging, and literally the next thing he does is fall in and start hugging, and the ref just let it happen. I'd have been perpetual with the points. I don't want to see you hugging no more. Point. They'd have been, listen, I'd rather watch that. I would rather have watched, the referee just taking off point after point after point. That's what should have happened. Why should Chris Billam-Smith have his moment? To be quite frank, from what we saw, for all we know, Chris Billam-Smith had his moment stolen. For all we know, if Chris Billam-Smith was able to actually box, Okolie might have been spark out, and I think Okolie knows it. Because let's do the maths here. If you know you've got someone, you don't hug them to death. A man hugging them to death, it's well known within the game. The last thing you do before you're on your way out is hug someone. You never see a guy on top teeing off on someone unless it's Devin Haney. Unless it's Devin Haney versus Cambosos 2, You'll never see someone on top teeing off and then desperate to hug. Okolie weren't teeing off. Okolie was hugging. That's the bottom line. He was clinging on for dear life. If Chris Billam-Smith had been able to actually box a bit, Okolie probably would have been stopped, truth be known. And that's I do have to admit though, the guy, I'll never, unless it's against someone like Reactpool, who I'll be praying knocks him spark out, Apart from to see him get knocked out, I'll never watch this guy again. Never. On principle. Because it actually killed my mood. It actually killed my mood, man. Do you know what I'm saying? You get there, it's like, looking forward to whatever. Genuinely, I've never felt like this after a fight before. I've never felt so irritated in my life. Even though Billam-Smith got the decision, I'm still irritated. I'm irritated someone can do that. It's a bit like, I don't know, the Champions League final, and one player just keeps picking the ball up and running off to the side. That's what it reminded me of. Champions League final, I don't watch football, but let's say, I don't know, pick two of the big teams, they're playing, and one player just keep picking the ball up and running off to the side. Like, what's the guy doing? And the referee don't do nothing about it. I'm not gonna tell you again. Don't pick the ball up. He picked the ball up. Don't pick the ball up. He picked the ball up. Don't pick the ball up. He picked the ball up. That's what we saw. Because with all due respect, 2 points didn't even come close to it. There could have been, 12 points would have been under what I would have gave. The ref should have taken away 12 points every single round. Why not? Why should Chris Billam-Smith have his opportunity stolen by a dude who came to do some Khamzat Chimaev? And to be honest, even Khamzat, truth be the mad thing is, even Khabib and Khamzat, they actually throw more hands than Okolie does in a boxing fight. I kid you not. Seriously. If you watch a Khabib fight, if you watch a Khamzat fight, they throw their hands, and they're wrestlers. They're pure bear wrestlers. They throw their hands. I've seen more hands thrown in a pure wrestler UFC fight than I saw tonight with Okolie. Shocking. This big dude come in with his chain on. Take the chain off 100%. You got no business wearing a chain. You're a cornball. Come in with his big chain, penny boys, and you're hugging. Don't give me penny boys. Hugging boys. How about that? Okolie. Oh, I'm from the ends. Oh, penny boys. And you're hugging, dude. What? Where are they doing that at? Explain to me. Where are they doing that one at? Take your chain off, turn the music off, and worry about what you're doing. How about that? Too much chain, too much music, and not enough doing what you're supposed to do. And it's a bad look, because actually, I have to admit, even though I'm giving Okolie no ratings, when he let his hands go, he was actually pretty effective. Do you know what I mean? The thing is, I think he could have won the fight, truth be known. That's the mad thing. Now, equally, that would have let Chris Billam-Smith into the fight, but, fact of the matter is, people, Okolie had no chance of winning this fight the way he did. And he looked most successful when his hands were going. Which is, scarily enough, that's how a boxing fight goes. Now, don't get me wrong, there's some fighters who all they can do is wade in and start thrashing. But Okolie's never going to be that guy. But when his hands were going, when he's putting his hands together, what happened to keeping it simple? With a guy of that size, jab, big shot. Even, truth be known, even Wilder And people laugh. Well, I laugh. He's a basketball player, yeah. But even Wilder, he knows how to bring his right hand into the game. Even against Fury in the third fight, he was jabbing to the body and then bowling it over. Even Wilder knows how to set it up. I mean, it's not, I hate to say it, but it's not rocket science, man. Where's the big double jab? Stiff, pop. Pop, bang, John Fury. Where's that? There was no pop, bang. I don't know what it was. It's almost like Okolie only wants to throw his hands, yeah, if he thinks he's getting something for free. If he thinks he can hit you, yeah, and there's no chance you can do anything else back, he'll take it. But that's just not how the game works. So clearly it don't. And I didn't see Chris Billam-Smith clinch. Mate, tell you a lie. I think I saw him once or twice towards the end, clinching. And I respect that because now some people, some kind of technical guys, oh, YB, the clinch. Listen, it needs to be banned. Truth be known, I'll ban it. If I was in charge of the sport, yeah, it'd be banned for me. I don't want to see it at all. Yeah? If you can't stand up, you shouldn't be hugging another man to stand up. Go on the floor, 100%, take a count. That's how I feel. I think 8 counts should be more kind of common. Or standing 8 count or whatever, that should become more common. Yeah? Get the standing 8 count into the game and get the clinch out. Because nothing ain't going on there. What's going on? Tell me the last time you saw good work in a clinch. Now, I've seen good work toe-to-toe with people with their hands up. Do you know what I mean? That's good work. That's how it should be. Yeah? The game should be, if you need to clinch, take a 8 count. Because clearly you're overwhelmed. The best fighters, even Bivol. You didn't see Bivol versus Canelo. Both of them, in fact, that's a great fight to watch. I mean, there wasn't a whole bunch of inside fighting, but you didn't really see Bivol clinging on for dear life, or Canelo. There was periods of time in there, they stand toe-to-toe, elbows in, chin down, and they're catching it and they're countering. That's boxing. Yeah? If all you know how to do is cling on for dear life, who doing that? It's dead. Get it out, 100%. And to be honest, I got to admit, even Mike Tyson, yeah? Mike Tyson was ferocious for the first 5 rounds, but go back and watch some of his fights. It'd be good for 4 rounds, and then to start falling and clinching. I don't want to watch that. I don't want to watch 2 buff dudes, yeah, falling in and just hanging about the place, being sloppy. Because falling in and being sloppy implies you got nothing left. Do you know what I'm saying? So you deserve to be knocked out. And that's how it should go. The game should be, in my opinion, this is a test of who can go the longest, who can throw their hands the longest, or in the best fashion. Now, if you're Mike Tyson and all you've got is 4 rounds, then that's on you. Yeah? Doesn't mean you do 4 rounds and then fall in and clinch the guy for 8 rounds. No, that's not how it works. Yeah, you stand there with your hands up and you tangle. And if you come out, if you can't handle it, that's on you. Because this, I don't know. I don't understand why. Who invented it? Who made that a thing? Yeah, well, actually, if you're a bit tired, you can just hug the guy to death. Or actually, if you don't fancy getting hit, you can hug the guy to death. Or actually, if you got no inside game. Because I got to be honest, Devin Haney, he got no inside game. Yeah? Or tell a lie, Devin Haney got inside game when he bullying guys in the gym. That's it. And I guarantee you probably, yeah? I think I heard some rumours that, yeah, Okolie was getting off on Chris Billam-Smith in sparring. Well, gym fighter, innit? That's the bottom line. He a gym fighter. He looked good in the gym. Everyone confident in the gym, apparently. But when it comes to these 10-ounce gloves or whatever, it must make, well, clearly. How can you light someone up in a gym and then do nothing when it comes to the fight? But anyway, let's talk about fair play to Chris, man. And in terms of the rematch, Okolie ain't doing nothing in the rematch, in that sense. The only way Okolie win is if a moody referee's in there and he don't take no points. Because I can see, well, I don't know, I can see Chris Billam-Smith losing the rematch. The only reason why, no, tell you that, that's not true. I see Chris Billam-Smith losing the rematch because if another referee, it's happened before. If another referee turns up here and allows Okolie to hug people to death, it's a case of, I mean, Chris didn't get lucky. Well, he did. I think he got lucky, truth be known. I think Chris Billam-Smith got lucky to land them punches. He weren't throwing his, he wasn't able to throw his hands. The God sent him down. Them kind of, I'm not taking, do you see what I'm trying to say? I'm not taking credit away from Chris, but realistically, what are the chances of Chris being hugged to death again and finding them magic shots? I think the odds are low. Them shots, this kind of fell into place, thank God, for Chris. But if he get hugged to death again, I can see Okolie hugging him to death and being a bit more active. That's what he does. Like, what Okolie does is puts a few shots together, hug you. That's his thing. It was I mean, I don't even really remember Chris getting in any leading shots off. It was all kind of like, and maybe that, to be fair, maybe that's part of the issue in that sense. Maybe Chris should have been first, because Chris would almost kind of wait for Okolie would get something off and then hug him. But then again, even Matty Askin, if I remember correctly, when Matty Askin fought Okolie, he was trying to be first, and he still got hugged to death. So, I don't know, man. All I can say is for Chris, for the rematch, Chris needs to be out here every round, from round one. I know that's the thing. Men with shame. Chris Billam-Smith clearly has a lot of shame, or a lot of pride. He don't want to be. Like, Chris was there to fight. He wasn't looking to hug. Do you know what I mean? And a man full of pride, you don't want to be moaning to the referee like a little girl. Well, you don't want to be clinging on to someone for dear life, like a little girl, like Okolie. Yeah? You want to be throwing your hands and making your own destiny, making your own fate. That's Chris Billam-Smith. Yeah? He weren't crying to the referee, oh, he hugging me. He should have been. And that's my point I'm making. In this game today, yeah, in 2023, it's not about being righteous. You got to get it how you got to get it. And if I was training Chris Billam-Smith, yeah, I'll be telling him, listen, it's not the best look, but every time this guy touch you, make a big scene to the referee. Because the referee was allowed to kind of just potter through this one. Oh, I'm warning you. There should be one warning, and every time from that point, a point's coming off. I tell him that. I tell Okolie in the dressing room, listen, boss, yeah, it's a boxing fight. The UFC and Bellator down the road. Yeah? We're doing boxing tonight. If you want, listen, you can do hugging if you want. Every time you hug, I'm taking a point off. Multiple points per round. Every time. 100%. I'm giving, in fact, tell her that's wrong. I'm giving you 3 clinches a round. Yeah? You get 3 clinches a round. Everyone after that, you get a warning. And the 5th one, you get a point taken off. 100% every round. Yeah? Every 5th clinch, you get a point taken off. So if you want to clinch 10 times, 5 points coming off that round. Oops. I'll tell him. Not having it. Especially for that's the other thing as well. I didn't pay for it. Thank the Lord. But people who did. I mean, people who went there to pay, like, what are we doing here? They ain't paid to watch that. They paid to watch their man in Bournemouth, Chris Billam-Smith, throw his hands. They didn't pay to watch him get hugged to death. And that's what I feel is lost here, is the fans. Which ultimately, yeah, Okolie wouldn't be making, I don't know how much, let's call it 500,000, $1 million, whatever it is. He wouldn't be making that if it weren't for the fans. And the referee, he wouldn't be making what he's making if he weren't for the fans. So these referee guys, yeah, need to forget about whatever they be on and start thinking about the paying public. Because without the whole infrastructure, without the whole paying infrastructure, there wouldn't be no referee. A lot of these guys, they think they're autonomous. Well, I'm upholding the Marquis's Queenberry rules. What you need to uphold is the paying customer. That's what you need to do. Yeah, truthfully, F Marquis of Queenberry, yeah. It's a bit like the Eubank situation with Liam Smith. I ain't trying to hear about no rules. If Eubank's a grown man, yeah, he got back up. If you want to go out on his back, let him go out on his back. That's what we paid for. Yeah, we didn't pay for some cornball to come in and tell us the rule book. We paid for entertainment. Yeah, if a grown man gets up and want to carry on, let him carry on. You know what I'm saying? If you don't, you don't. I mean, we've seen Ryan Garcia. It's not like, you know what I mean? What happened to people having their own independence? Yeah? If a grown man want to get up and get stuck in, he want to get up and get stuck in. My point is, these rule bashers. I mean, how can you say the referee was even following the rules? What was in the rules about what Okolie was doing? Where does it say you can hug someone to death indefinitely? Now, I'm not a historian, but I'm pretty sure there's been fights stopped before from people hugging. This should genuinely, I ain't gonna lie to you. Why be you a hater and whatever else? I had Okolie winning this fight. Before it, I thought, yeah, Okolie can win this one. I had Okolie bossing this fight, truth be known. I thought it was going to be light work. So don't come with that one. But because it's been 2 years, I couldn't believe how bad he is. I couldn't believe what I was witnessing. I'm beyond. You can't explain it. You have to. It's one of them ones, yeah. You have to have watched it. But I watched the highlights. Don't watch the highlights. Yeah, to feel how I feel last night and this morning. It felt like I'd lost money on it. Or actually worse. It was almost. I was filled with this animosity to what. You know what I mean? life's short. I'll never get that hour back, ever. And it wasn't just, in fact, it's not even just a time. It was what I spent that time doing. I spent that time doing watching this big buff 6'5" dude with these long lanky levers with no jab and just his arms everywhere but not putting them on people. Well, tell a lie, he hugged you to death. He ain't touching you. He's heavy-handed, but he ain't letting... Oh, I don't know. Anyway, I've gone around in circles, man. Salute to Chris Billam-Smith. Thankfully, they didn't rob him. And my advice to him would be, man, in the rematch, you need to play on the hugging thing. Because you can't let this guy... Because he'll do it. There's no way now. Especially he's been down now. When someone's been down, it's like AJ. And I think that's actually why Okolie got worse. Because it's clear Okolie knows he's got no chin, yeah? That's why he does what he's doing. So, when someone knows they've got no chin, and then they go down for the first time in their career 3 times, you don't come back from that and think, oh, now I'm going to be a beast on the inside. You become even more scared of your own shadow. And there's a lot of hype around Sugar Hill. Listen, man. But I don't even really blame Sugar Hill. Some fighters, or most fighters really, they are who they are at that point. It's a bit like AJ. AJ could dig up Custody Amato from the grave. Not even Custody Amato can put AJ's head back on his shoulders. Yeah? He's lost his head, 100%. And the same thing here. You could dig up any of the great trainers. You could dig up Manuel Stewart for what it's worth. He can stop Okolie hugging someone to death. That's where he feels safe. That's his safe place. Yeah? Okolie's like a 3-year-old girl who has nightmares. She hides under the bed, under the quilt. Yeah, Lawrence Okolie's 3-year-old girl space is, oh, I'm going to hug you to death. That's where I feel safe, which is natural. That's what untrained dudes do, in that sense. Oh, I feel safe here because I know I can't be hit. And really, the cruiserweight division's been whacked for a while, with all due respect. That's why Okolie champion. It's whack. I mean, he beat Glowacki. Like, who that? Don't know him. He beat some dude that no one heard of before. And I have to say, I apologise to Usyk, because Usyk would do that guy 100%. He wouldn't knock him out, but Usyk would box circles around Okolie for sure. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Salute to Chris Billam-Smith. Here at Real One. I would have liked to have seen more from him, but it's not his fault. But yeah, that was a tough, and it was tiring. You could see Chris getting tired. He wasn't even active, but just that, Okolie's just, what's that? You know when you have a bad dream, and some monster's trying to get you, and you can't run? That's how it looked for Chris. This big gangly thing was just hanging on him, just sucking the energy out of him. And he took the shots as well, he took quite a few clean shots, Chris did. Not loads, but he had a good defence, or a good tight guard. But he took shots and it didn't deter him. I thought, there were some points I thought, oh, maybe Chris is going to get hit, and then, you know, one's there where you see someone get hit and you can see that rabbit in the headlights look in their eyes, oh, I'm ready to go now. But he didn't. Every time he got hit, he took it and he looking to come back. So salute to him. Chris put on a true champion performance. He weathered. I couldn't have done it. I couldn't have done it. There's no way. He weathered it like a true man. He sucked it up. He didn't whine. He didn't get dirty. He sucked it up, and thankfully the gods blessed him with them shots that landed. Anyway, let me know your thoughts, people. Smash the like button, subscribe, and let off the bell 100%.